The Ghost King appeared in an instant. Smoke like black light flowed from his eyes, and his face seemed to have become the mask of a cursed spirit. He roared, a sound that seemed to pierce the sky, but he did not attack. Lu Fan and his group were immediately on alert. Everyone knew he could strike in an instant. Lu Fan. Andra's whisper was both fearful and warning. He is no longer fully human. Half of his body has become like a dragon. Look at his back, there are black wings growing from there. Senior Sister's face turned serious. She stared into the Ghost King's eyes for a moment, then said in a low voice, "His pressure is building up. This calm is before the storm. We have to do something now. The Ghost King might attack." According to the status window, the target was detected. Lu Fan knew that it was our target, and then he immediately ordered Andre not to be impulsive from behind. "Go back to Senior Sister Sorceress, and go up in the air with me first." With that, Andre immediately uses the power of the god's true body, which invokes the power of the superior flame god and increases all attributes to 100% and obtains explosive flame wings for temporary flight. And the duration of the true body is determined by the spiritual attributes. Andre immediately swings his big axe into action and says with a smile, "Although I have never protected the back, but even so, there is no problem here." Senior Sister also raised her hand and nodded, saying, "Okay, I agree with this decision." Lu Fan's eyes flashed with anger. "It can't be too late now," he muttered. He immediately leapt into the air, and so did the others. They were all up together now, ready for battle. Lu Fan stopped looking down as he flew into the sky. His eyes were focused in only one direction, on the Ghost King. "This is no ordinary monster," he said softly. "It's already dead. A ghost, and a king at that." His senses screamed that this battle would not be ordinary. Every moment could be deadly. Lu Fan made a sharp hand gesture. Now all move forward together. A wave of fire swept through the sky, and all the warriors moved in the same direction rapidly. At the same moment, he loudly commanded, "Xiaoji, transform into destructive dragon form." Something inside Xiaoji began to crack. Black scales began to grow from his body, and a demonic aura began to emanate from his eyes. Wings spread, claws lengthened. He was now transforming into a devastating dragon. But then, the sky echoed. "Gra!" The King of Ghosts suddenly appeared. His roar tore through the atmosphere. The sky was dark. The ghost demon launched his first attack. Death sentence. His sword rose high into the air, and then fell down at lightning speed. This was no ordinary attack. 490 shadow damage. No target can escape. Cooldown 90 seconds. The air stilled as the sword glow shot towards Lu Fan. For a moment, it seemed as if time itself had stopped. But Lu Fan stood there, calm, steady. The sword attack came straight towards him. But just as it reached him, something invisible hit. Trurk. A blue, glowing wall appeared. A pure energy barrier which surrounded the entire team in an instant. Xiao Fai, who was now standing behind, had a serious look in his eyes. He had silently activated Eternal Guardian. This was an ancient defensive skill, which creates a barrier that protects all allies within its radius. The attack hit, but all of the sword's shadow energy was absorbed by the barrier. Lu Fan didn't blink. His posture showed no fear, no reaction. Looking at the energy spreading around him, it was as if he already knew that nothing would happen. The barrier's power was based on Xiaofa's internal health and recovery ability, and right now it was in full force. The terrible attack had failed. The barrier still resonated with a faint glow, as if some divine power held everything in place. Lu Fan smiled slightly. He looked at Xiaofa, who was still standing focused. "Well done," he said in a firm voice, "you saved everyone." Then his gaze turned to Xiaoji. There was warmth in his eyes now, a hero's admiration. He smiled slightly and said, "Xiaoji, now it's your turn. Prepare for the lava explosion." Xiaoji took his place. His chest began to rise slowly, as if a fire was being awakened from within. His head lifted up, eyes turned red, and his breath came out as hot steam. A giant fireball began to form in front of his mouth. It was spherical, but flames danced across its surface. Deep orange, angry red, and a white, burning core within. The whole ground trembled with its heat. The Ghost King looked uncomfortable for the first time. His eyes narrowed, and his sword shook once more. "What is it doing? This fire, why is it so heavy?" His tail thumped the ground with a loud noise. He took a sharp breath, and then, "Grrr!" With a roar, The enormous fireball was hurled toward the ghost monster. It ripped through the air, blazing, moving at lightning speed. The air burned wherever it passed. The tree branches snapped, the dust on the ground flew. And then, a massive explosion. Waves of fire shot up to the sky, as if lava himself had come and participated in the war. The blazing fireball hit the ghost monster, and the entire ground exploded. The ground shook, flames and ashes spread everywhere, as if a volcano had spewed out all the anger within it. Everyone was stunned for a moment. The ghost monster fell to the ground. His black shadow trembled. A terrible scream came out of his mouth, a scream that mixed pain, anger, and madness. But the next moment, he stood up again. His eyes were no longer red, but black smoke. A new energy began to waver around him, cold, scary, and unholy. Xiaoji unleashed a second blast without stopping, and then a third. Lava balls rained down one after another. But the ghost monster was now directly bearing every attack from Xiaoji. His body was no longer melting into them, but stood still as if the explosions did not affect him at all. The flames danced around him, but there was no pain on his face now, only ferocity. The elder sister, who had been standing beside Lu Fan until now, took a step back. Her face turned pale. She said in a trembling voice, "This is not right. Why? He seems to be swallowing Xiaoji's attacks. This really is no ordinary monster." Her voice was soft, but her words were full of fear. Senior sister's warning rang out in the air. And as soon as she spoke, Bao Bao, who was always ready to jump in first, jumped into action without wasting a moment. Electricity sparked around his body. Every vein, every muscle seemed to be filled with light. Thump! He jumped straight into the battlefield. The ghost demon's eyes suddenly lit up. His head tilted slightly. He was looking at Bao Bao steadily, as if recognizing something forgotten. But then, "Now get ready to attack!" Lu Fan's voice pierced the sky. Senior sister reacted immediately. But it didn't have much of an effect on the ghost demon. His eyes were still fixed on Bao Bao. His face had a strange turmoil, as if he was breaking from within. What is this?" he muttered to himself, and just then, Bao Bao's form began to change. His body became larger and larger. Lines of lightning began to shoot out of his muscles. A bright flash of yellow lightning flashed all around him. He had now become massive. Bao 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 closed his eyes. Then slowly, an ancient chant in the dragon language came out from his lips. 3.3 million thunders of destruction. In the next moment, the sky darkened, the clouds roared, and the storm god descended from the heart of the sky. Lightning tore through the horizon, and 3.3 million thunderbolts came directly onto the monster's body. Every lightning bolt, every flash, was a symbol of destruction. The monster screamed miserably. Smoke rose from its skin, its huge body began to bend, but it still hadn't broken. At that very moment, Lu Fan rushed forward with his dragon sword. Flames of blue and golden energy rose up around him. He said in a deep but calm voice, "It's not over yet." He's still standing. We won't retreat. Lu Fan now had a goal in his eyes. He held his dragon sword tightly, and at the same time, he activated the power of Wankong, a power that was intertwined with dragon energy and had the ability to launch a combined attack with its pet companions. Wankong dual strike system activated. As Xiaoji's eyes glowed, lightning danced around Bao Bao again. Everyone's energy flowed in unison. Lu Fan roared and charged forward. His sword was engulfed in burning flames, and his plan was clear: to cut the monster in half with a single strike. But at that very moment, the monster screamed. Its scream was so intense that the wind stopped and a thick black fog spread across the field. Lu Fan suddenly stopped his sword, his eyes on alert. "Shadow protection," he whispered. This was the same power that turned the Ghost King into Miyajima's shadow. When this power is activated, he disappears into smoke and fog and can attack from any direction without any prior warning. But as the ghost monster disappeared, Lu Fan and Andre were stunned for a few moments. There was only thick fog all around, and its echoing scream was now just a faint echo left in their ears. This shadow dragon was just here," Andre said as he tightened his weapon. "Where did it disappear to?" Nearby, senior sister's eyes flashed with worry. She immediately looked at Lu Fan and said, "Lu Fan, either it has disappeared or it is hovering around us somewhere. Immediately tell Xiaoji to use his detection power." But Lu Fan interrupted her by shaking his head. "No, that's not possible. His voice was now more serious than before. This is his skill, shadow protection. When he activates it, no detection power can detect him. It's a state of complete concealment. Silence spread. No, Lu Fan's eyes darted around. We have to be extremely cautious. He could appear from any direction, at any moment. Suddenly, Lu Fan's eyes lit up. He had a plan. He didn't waste any time looking at Andre and gesturing with his head. Andre didn't ask anything, he just smiled slightly. He understood. He walked forward. As Andre walked forward through the fog, Senior Sister's worried voice echoed from behind. "Hey! Don't go there! Can you be so careless? You don't know where it is." But Andre didn't stop. His movements were full of confidence. He knew he was being bluffed. A trap set by Lu Fan. And just at that moment, with a terrifying scream, the shadow monster came out of the fog, its eyes piercing Andra. "Andra!" Senior Sister's scream echoed again. "Watch your back!" Protect. No, but it was too late. The demon's terrible sword flashed in the air, and in one stroke the ground was torn apart. There was a huge explosion. Andre's body was buried under the rubble. A cloud of dust rose up. Senior Sister gasped. "No, Andra!" She turned to Lu Fan, her eyes filled with anger and tears. "Lu Fan! How could you be so cold-hearted? Did you send him to die?" The dust was still in the air. Lu Fan stood still. There was no fear on his face, only a staring faith. But then, Senior Sister's eyes were filled with tears. Her body was shaking. She was just about to say something when she felt a warm sensation on her shoulder. She slowly turned her head and looked back. Andra, he was standing there, smiling, completely unharmed. Senior Sister couldn't believe her eyes. "You," Andre said softly, "don't worry. What you saw wasn't me. It was just my reflection." Senior Sister was stunned. "Reflection?" Andre nodded. "Yes, mirror image. An ancient technique that creates two mirror images, one of which looks like the real thing, and the other is meant to trap." He was silent for a while, then smiled. "I figured out Lu Fan's plan then. And I knew that tricking this demon was the only way. He attacked a shadow, not me." Relief flashed in Senior Sister's eyes, but her face was still serious. "And now?" Andre's smile deepened. "No. This demon has fallen for our trick, and let Lu Fan decide his end." Andre looked at Senior Sister, smiled, and said softly, "How do you feel? Now accept it. When we are together, no one can stop us." Senior Sister took a deep breath. There was a slight gleam in her eyes. "You two really scared me." Then her smile became even softer. But what to do now? Maybe this was the best way. Where at that very moment, Lu Fan spoke in a very calm voice, but there was a blazing fire in his eyes. He raised his sword. Blue and black dragon energy burst out of his sword. "Of course, you and we will take responsibility and not miss this opportunity." In a gesture, he began to give instructions to everyone. There was no hesitation in his voice anymore. "Shuji, prepare for the lava explosion. Bao Bao, prepare for the next attack." He then took a deep look at Xiao Fei and said in a calm voice, "Xiao Fei, now is the time. Use the power of the dragon domain. We will not let this monster return to Miaosmin. That will be the end of him. Dragon domain, this was no ordinary power. This was the most ancient power of the dragon race." Xiao Fei's eyes glowed blue. Gold light began to spread around him. As he roared, an ancient dragon circle formed in the sky, slowly descending to the ground. This circle, which spanned a radius of 100 meters, became a trap for the demon. Lines of dragon symbols formed from all directions, like an ancient battle mantra being repeated. And then, as the power activated, the ghost demon screamed, "No! What's happening? My power is gone." The black shadow seemed to burn from his body. 50% of his power was slowly being deactivated. At that very moment, Xiao Ji, who had been preparing for a lava explosion this whole time, now began to exude blazing heat from his breath. Its mouth opened and a huge, glowing, ember-like sphere began to form before it, so huge that the entire field began to tremble with its heat. As Xiao Fei's dragon domain activated and Xiao Ji's lava explosion began to rain fire from the sky, Bao did not stay quiet either. Lightning flashed in his eyes and he roared, "Heaven's punishment!" A roar echoed from the sky, and then streams of lightning began to fall upon the monster from every direction. Fast, ferocious, and unstoppable, each lightning ray was a celestial judgment, as if heaven itself had come forward to destroy him. Attacks were coming from all three directions. Lava from below, lightning from above, and the dragon domain from all sides. The monster, who once played with shadows, was now itself transformed into burning darkness. His screams echoed across the field. The black shadows began to melt, his bones began to break. He wanted to flee. But there was no way left, and finally, a terrible explosion and everything was quiet. Only ashes scorched ground. The status window chimed in. The blue dragon has entered a level up. The black dragon has now reached level 46. The shadow monster has been eliminated. A special item has been obtained. A crown of ether shade, a mystical crown,